So before we dive headfirst into true object-oriented programming programs, I want to walk you through the PowerPoint and the concept of object-oriented programming through this. So this is just kind of get an idea of what object-oriented programming is and when you might want to use it. So if you took 111 or 130, you understand methods. Hopefully you understand methods by now. If you're on 130, we are going to have a review section on it, so don't worry too much. But we know from methods, we've taken the pressure off of the main, right? That was the entire point of methods, to clean our programs and take the pressure off of that main method, which I often refer to as the CEO, and pass tasks or jobs off as other methods. We can use classes and objects to hide away and protect data we don't want others to see, that's important, and we can use classes and objects to greatly reduce redundancy. Basically, the entirety of CIT 130 is about reducing redundancy. You'll hear me say that each and every chapter and every week, more than likely. We're going to have multiple files working together, which is usually what you do in the real world. Instead of having everything piled up in one, only one of these files will contain a main method, and it achieves secure and private programs. Again, all of the things that I've already kind of explained, but let's jump into this with think of a dog, right? A little silly, a little simple, but think of a dog. This is how I'm gonna try to get across object-oriented programming to you. So if I showed you this dog, and I said, let's say we want to create this dog in Java. It's pretty easy, right? You would say, I need a string variable for the dog's name. I can call that some name. I need a string variable for the dog's breed. That's some breed. I need a string variable for the dog's color. Let's say it's tan and white. I need an integer for the age. And a boolean is trained is false or true, true or false. Obviously, we could go on and on and on with a list of variables, but for the purpose of time and simplicity, I'm going to keep it at these 5 variables. That's 3 strings, 1 int, and a boolean. Nice and easy. If we want that dog, we could probably create it in Java right now in less than a minute. But now, oh look, another dog. Time to make some more variables. This dog has a name, a breed, a color, an age, and then is trained. So we went from 5 variables to 10 variables for our second dog. Not a big deal, I can copy and paste, right? Think of another dog. Now you have a third dog. You need a string, an int, and a boolean. See where I'm going here? You have 3 dogs. This could keep going. I could have 5 dogs, 10 dogs, 100, 1,000 dogs. Every dog you create has the same type of variables. Yeah, they probably have different names, different colors, different ages, they're trained or not. They have different features, or they have different things that map to these variables, values, but they have the same variables in the end. So did you notice something? Yeah, they all have a name, a breed, a color, an age, are trained or not. So this is how our program would look, and I actually have this written up here. You can also find this code on Blackboard. Sorry, that would be here. You can also find this code on Blackboard. But this is probably not what you want to do, because you can see here that all I'm doing is printing. That's all I'm doing in this code here. To print all of the variables, I would have to have 4 more lines for each dog, so a total of 12 more lines for 3 dogs. It would just get out of control. 1 dog was fine, that's 5 lines of code. 2 dogs, 10, okay, copy and paste wasn't so bad. Once you get to 3, there probably has to be a better way to do this. Again, if we went to 4, 5, 6, way out of control. 1,000, too much. So, creating a dog object using a separate class. Based on the very first video you saw in this playlist, you kind of have the idea of objects, hopefully. What we're going to do here is we're going to create a blueprint of a dog. Because we know a dog takes a name, a breed, a color, an age, and then is trained, we can store all of that information kind of in this little blueprint here, this class. And then we can store each individual dog as an object of that class, much like we saw with the Mickey Mouse and the Baloney methods. So this dog is an instance of the dog class, this dog is an instance of the dog class, and this dog is an instance of the dog class. That way, each dog represents the overall dog class, the blueprint or the skeleton, the shell, whatever you'd like to call it. And then we don't have to create these variables for each dog. We can just reference that this is a dog, it has these variables. This is the dog, it has these variables. This is the dog, it has these variables. So, what I will refer to as the shell class or the blueprint or something like that is our client. This will contain placeholders for all of these variables. Each time we want to create a new dog, we'll just create one based on this shell, or this client class. Thus, we are creating a new dog object. So the next two slides show the source code and output of our newly created class. You can find the source code on Blackboard, and I will be showing you the source code in the next video. We won't be creating it from scratch. We will do that in a future video though. So here's the source code. Now, let me take a step back, because when I get to this point, students usually say, yeah, I understand. The concepts make sense. It's pretty simple. It sounds like it's going to be a lot easier to maintain. This is a great idea. Then we get to this slide. Here's the code. Oh, no, I don't like object-oriented programming anymore. Right, it is a little intimidating, but let me put your mind at ease here with the following. First of all, we're not worrying about the constructors right now, so don't worry about these two classes. What we're going to worry about is this is a lot of code, right? But let's take a deeper look at this code. This method is called setName. This method is called getName. This method is called setBreed. This method is called getBreed. This method is called setColor. This method is called getColor. Do you see a pattern? SetAge, getAge. SetTrained, getTrained. So for each and every one of our variables, and we will talk about why they're green and private and outside and that type of thing, but for now I just want to get the general idea down. For each and every one of our variables, we have a set and a get. We set the variable, and then we get the variable. The set simply takes our private variable and assigns it to public, and our get will return, it will give us back that name. So that's all we're doing in the majority of our code here. Yes, it is daunting and long, but we're setting the name, we're getting the name. We're setting the breed, we're getting the breed. It's pretty repetitive. But at the end of the day, it's going to be very dynamic in allowing us to create as many dogs as we would like. We also have a toString method, which we will get more into, but it will return each dog in a neatly formatted order. Again, I promise I will cover all of this stuff, but for now, I just want to put your mind at ease and tell you that the majority of this code is setGet, 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 which you may read as mutator methods, or setters and getters. Here is the output. So this is my main class right now. Look how much cleaner, there is a lot of comments, but look how much cleaner, how many less lines of code this is to produce, I was going to say the same output, but this output is actually far more detailed than that of what we saw before, as we have a neat output for each dog describing each variable instead of just the name. So at the end of the day, we create a dog class, and we tie each dog to that class, instead of creating 3 individual dogs or 100 individual dogs, and we end up with this. That is the concept of object-oriented programming. I'll walk you through, or not walk you through, but just show you the code real quick. If you'd like to pause the video and take a look at it, you can. So here was the base class of where we didn't use object-oriented programming. Here is the dog client, which is rather long. All of this code can be found on Blackboard. And in the next video, we will be creating an object-oriented programming from complete scratch. And here is the demo class where we run. Remember, in most of these, especially starting out, we'll have a client, which has no main class, and then the demo, which creates objects based on the client. So that is your introduction to objects, and we are going to get into more detail in the next video, so watch out for that.